And we back. Quarter Life Critics with my two best friends. Grant, what's going on?
What is going on, Quinn?
And Patrick. What's going on, Patrick?
What's up, guys?
I tried to tone it down, Grant. I remembered your comment from last time. We have a nice, chill, vibey intro, and we got to just ease into it.
Yeah, and a chill outro. I think our outro is chill now.
I think it is chill. It may not have sound, but if it did have sound, it would be very
fucking
chill.
Screamo. Oh.
Right. So
somewhere in between.
Without further ado, let's get into it, guys. And as you know, here at Quarter Life Critics, where we review the best TV and film the world has to offer, every week we have a director who guides us through a wonderful, enlightened, captivating conversation on the movie we just watched. And surprise, surprise, the director this week is none other than myself. So my first order of business, as any great manager or CEO or director does, is I'm going to delegate some work, Grant.
Okay.
What? To you.
Me?
To you. You win the special award, the special cookie. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what we're talking about today?
Today, we are talking about Fire of Love. It is a 2002 film, American-Canadian film, and it centers around two intrepid scientists and lovers, Katia and Maurice Krafft. They die in a volcanic explosion, doing the very thing that brought them together, which is unraveling the mysteries of volcanoes by capturing some of nature's most explosive imagery. It's about two lovers, and what do they call themselves?
Volcanologists.
They met and they studied volcanoes their whole life, and they died studying them, but they kind of understood the risks.
Now, you said last time, I know I gave away the plot too, but I think it was pretty obvious when you pulled it up that, I mean, it's in the synopsis that they die.
In the first 5 minutes.
Yeah. This was a film that you were aware of through the Cleveland Film Festival. Is that right, Grant?
Yeah, the Cleveland International Film Fest.
And now when they do those showings, is that, like that synopsis you gave, is that something they would give on the paper?
No, they didn't. That's why I didn't. I probably would have been more intrigued. I think I would have seen it, but when I read the description, there was no mention of their deaths.
So they gave you a description, but they didn't say these people died.
Yeah, it was different. I was like, why wouldn't they say this? It seems like they should have said that.
Kind of a core tenet of the movie.
Yeah.
Now, what do they give you? Is it long? Is it short?
It was like, their mysterious, love for volcanoes, like brought these lovers together or something like that.
But is it usually like just one sentence, or is it a whole paragraph?
Yeah, probably like 5 to 10 sentences. It's pretty. It's pretty, and it's usually the language is pretty.
Verbose,
wordy,
wordy.
Verbose.
Yeah, they have a lot of things in there.
Grant, when I went with you, I felt like it was almost like the director wrote it, like when they submitted it. Like it felt like personal. Yeah. I don't know.
I don't
this is my
know
lovely
if they
work of art.
I don't think they do, but it does feel like that. It's like a very, I don't know. It's a very like emotional. It goes a pretty in depth and about
it's more
the feeling,
like
of
intimate
the film.
Than you would just give to the
like
public.
It'll give you like adjectives of like how you feel watching it.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a feel good, like warm, or like this one really like shakes you to your core about your parenthood and what you thought was right may be wrong or something like that.
Now, are these sentences or are these descriptions? Is this the only thing you're going off of when you're picking films, or do you have another plan of attack for you?
Yeah, it's like there's probably 5, 6 all showing at once. So if you're scheduling your day, you're looking at that and you're feeling like, okay, um, if I want to watch a movie in this time slot, I have 6 to choose from. So that narrows it down pretty quick. And then, yeah, I mean, I usually follow that description. That's pretty much it. The language and the origin, I think, is really important. I tend to avoid USA ones. I think that was actually a factor.
I think you're a little underwater there, Grant. I don't know what's.
Oh, can you not hear me?
No, it's better.
Now it's a lot better. I don't know if it was as you leaned back, it was getting a little.
Yeah, so like the description is one factor. The country of origin, I think, is another pretty big one. You know, if you want to watch something, you know, an Eastern European movie is going to be different than Southeast Asian movie. And one, thing that was a factor, I think, in me not watching this was it was American Canadian, which means that the likelihood of being able to watch it after the film fest on some streaming service is way higher than an obscure, Czechoslovakian film. You're probably never going to get a chance to see it again.
Netflix isn't picking it up, for the...
No.
So has that been your experience too, Pat? So, I
just went the one time, but
okay.
It was... And also, like, the type of movie. Like, there were a lot of shorts. So, like, if you're planning to watch something like a serious documentary, you might want to mix it up with, like, some, a little bit of shorts after and then go back into something else, just so it's not, like, hardcore movie. You kind of mix up your day a little bit.
That actually, just adding on to that, I think that was the other factor. I think we started the morning with a documentary, and then we didn't want another documentary right after a documentary. So this one got the cut.
Okay. That's cool. All right. So let's jump into...
Soon,
yes,
you may be able to experience some of these decisions and decision making. One day.
One day. Let's, before we even talk about the film, what you thought about it, what you liked, what you didn't like, let's appreciate it for a bit. So, I asked my lovely co-host to pick out some beautiful clips for us to watch, to view. So let's just take a look at them. And I'm praying that this is a newer film on Disney Plus, that nothing's gonna get taken down. I've removed the audio from some of these, so let's see. Let's start off with Grant's clip, which I think is pretty quintessential. Do you want to explain what you picked, Grant, or what you felt was the most awe-inspiring?
Well, yeah. I mean, normally when we're picking a clip, we do this every week, and it's like, you just think back, or, when you're watching something that was impactful. I think this film, you could literally pan anywhere in the film and show that clip, and I think it would largely show the emotion that most of the clips do. It's just like really beautiful and unique, and you've never seen anything like it. And you feel the power of these, the volcano, even through the camera. And so this clip, particularly on the water, if you guys are just listening, it's there's lava dripping straight into, like, a shore, a coastline, and you have Maurice is like just standing there and like hanging out.
Very close.
Very close. Like he could be pushed into the lava at any point. And it's just, I don't know, these
underwater
cool
scenes are great. I mean, where it's new matter just being pushed out of the earth, basically.
Yeah, it's like an artery of rock,
Yeah, it feels like some sort of like dystopian, like industrialism. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just weird.
We're gonna create more nature.
Mm-hmm.
That ending scene there too was pretty quintessential. Where I think it's the cover of the documentary too, where maybe not that they're not wearing their little spacesuits in that part, but
Yeah.
they do have the volcano just redness as the backdrop, where it's, I mean, fantastic, goal, and amazing. I am going to share my clip next. So the one that I picked out was the ones related to Mount St. Helens, because I really didn't know a lot about this occurrence, and they have like a series of photographs that, I mean, that were taken that, I mean, just show the gradual explosion, eruption. And I mean, if you saw that in real life, I mean, you'd be shitting your shitting your pants, man. And then, and even to add on to it, at the ending here, where they have the recording. It was actually hard. I was trying to fact check this recording, like if that. I could not find the audio of that guy saying like, "This is it," you know, Vancouver, Vancouver, this is it, anywhere else, which was a little tough. But he was the guy. His name was let's see here.
Oh, the guy who, yeah.
David Johnston, who
Mhm.
died in the explosion, who was observing it. I don't know if explosions or eruption in the magma lava flow. So I don't know. Just the fact that a bunch of people were able to get different accounts then back in the 80s, that was pretty
Yeah.
cool.
And well, and the guy that what was his name? You just said
DJ.
David Johnson, DJ.
David Johnson, who you know passed from, he got killed by the eruption. He was 10 kilometers away, and he still died because they had only predicted the explosion to be like 6 or 7 kilometers, and ended up being 12, which is like an insane distance, like death radius, which, yeah, it's just kind of the sheer power of these things is crazy. And one thing you learn early on in the film is like the two different distinctions of volcanoes, which is cool. You got the red ones, the friendly ones, which I thought, when I heard that, I thought that was foreshadowing that they were going to die in a red, by a red one, because they were like, nah, the red ones are the friendly ones. You don't have anything to worry about. And I guess maybe that's true, but basically it's like the two plates, tectonic theories, they're pulling apart. So the lava, the red volcanoes are just flowing and there's no pressure, but the gray ones, as they're pushing together, and there's going to be a massive eruption.
It's like an atomic bomb.
Yeah.
What was crazy to me was they don't even it's completely unpredictable. Like they have no way. I don't know if it's still true today, but
I
what
think
they
so.
were saying. Yeah, it's not that long ago, but things changed quickly. But they're just yeah, we have no way of knowing how severe this is going to be. Like there's going to be an eruption sometime, but
yeah, you can see the signs like it's going to erupt because everyone seems to get there
chase it
beforehand. Yeah.
But the magnitude is who knows? Yeah, could end up like DJ, could end up like Katia and Maurice, or you could be getting some National Geographic, front page pics. Never know.
Yeah, is that death does it just literally pulverize and obliterate everything in that radius? Or
I think you melt. I mean, what do you mean?
Well, it's
for Katia and Maurice, it seemed like they weren't even that close, but I guess that's the whole thing.
I think there's you melt or you get hit by debris, Mount St. Helen, the top literally just exploded.
Yeah,
so, rock is just flying everywhere. It's like a grenade.
Yeah, shrapnel.
Yeah, you just see that plume of smoke coming at you. I mean, that's some horror movie type shit. Once you're in that, I mean, you're done.
All
skis.
the trees.
I'm sure it's so hot.
wiped.
You probably just cook.
Yeah,
too.
immediately. Probably quick.
Yeah,
Um,
even if it's just yeah, that's a good point. Even if it's just hot air, the air is probably so fucking hot you just bake so, like
yeah, you're not.
instantaneously.
You can't take a breath in there. I mean,
No.
so those were the two clips. I did ask uh, Patrick. You know, he kind of. I think you missed the deadline to fill in the clip, but
I did.
it looks like if you did uh, hit the deadline, it would have been what the acid lake you said.
Yes, I thought that was the most awe-inspiring to me. It's not really beautiful. It was kind of beautiful, but
Yeah,
It was like shocking. It was
he's
like, why would you ever
insane.
do
Yeah,
that?
why would you do that?
but
It was
also it's
kind of
like,
like a boy's thing to do. It seemed like.
so
Like,
basically they just like bought this like shitty rubber boat and went onto this lake that was created by the runoff from a nearby volcano, and it kind of turned the water into like sulfuric acid. And they were just trying to measure it, get some readings, but it literally melted their equipment as they put their steel reading
Yeah, you
equipment
put
into
some
the
shit in there,
water.
just disintegrate, and then they're like, can't get back. I was just a bad idea. Sounds like
It just
something you
didn't
do if you
seem
were
like
drunk.
it just didn't seem like something that should really exist on Earth. Like I feel like that's like something that you see in like a horror movie, you know, like oh, we're stuck in like, you know, this remote island and the like someone goes in the water and they like start melting. Like it doesn't feel like that's Earth.
Yeah, it probably would have taken away from the film if they went into too much of like the science. I mean, they never really said. I mean, it's a lot of research, study, examine. Like, is there something in particular we're looking at? Like, what are we like? What mysteries are we trying to unravel here? But I
yeah,
think it wasn't the time or place for that. But
I was curious too. I mean, like the acid lake. I must like. I think they mentioned sulfuric acid, which makes sense. I guess because the sulfur from volcanoes. But I mean, they made a point. That they had to be close because they had to do this research. They had to be firsthand and do the research. And was the research the documenting just through
What
the camera and footage? Is that
my
the
take
research?
no, I think that's the profitable part. They
yeah,
said.
that I thought it was like profit driven. Like they wanted to make these documentaries, they wanted to make these films so they could like because it didn't seem like they were like tenured professors or anything. Like
More
where you
of
get
the
like
hippie
funding.
type.
Yeah, kind of more the free love, you know, just going at your own pace. So like they needed a way to fund their lifestyle and continue doing what they loved. Like I don't know anything about them, but that's just kind of like they need to get close so they could have shots that no one else is willing to do.
Well, they said we have to do this research. We have to be close to do this. They were like, it's so dangerous, but we have to do this research.
Mhm.
So I just don't know what because they just show them ever taking like measurements of anything really.
They were sticking their
Yeah,
things
I agree.
in the ground and
They were, like, getting
they were like
samples.
looking at the
But
rocks.
what were they taking? What like how much?
You wouldn't understand.
Yeah, you wouldn't understand. They would have started saying things. You're like, this is dumb. Where's the
Yeah.
volcano? All right, this is a great transition into a segment I like to call "That Was Great," but which I think
This is one of your favorite segments.
it is one of my favorite
I
segments.
think it's
Criticizing
a-
things.
Well, I think it's a great segment, but not my favorite.
Time for Grant to go to bed. So you can talk about the good parts too if you want to contrast a bit. But I asked what is, or maybe the biggest flaw, or what is the biggest piece of criticism you would give this documentary? And I see Mr. Patrick has his hand raised, so I'm going to call on Patrick first. Patrick.
Thank you, Mr. McHale. My biggest gripe was the narrator. I was ready to snooze. She sounded so bored, like you couldn't pay me enough to be here. Like it's a love story and there's volcanoes exploding everywhere and she is droning on like she's talking about like rubber imports in the 1940s or something, like completely boring and like I don't know.
Like a video in health class or something.
1940s is too interesting. You'd have to do
Yeah.
like 1920s or something.
like the 1600s like shoe game. Like what were the coolest shoes in the 1600s? I don't know. But it was just so like her voice was just not drawing me into the movie. And that's like contrasted with like, you know, like the interviews with Maurice, you know, those were pretty spunky, pretty fun, pretty lively. And then like cuts to like a voiceover and I'm like, "Oh my god, like how did you get this job?"
Did you feel the same way there, Grant?
I don't know. I guess I didn't really notice the narrator, to be honest, too much. What about you, Quinn?
It was definitely up there for me. It
Big
wasn't
sound guy.
it wasn't adding a lot to the film, and like you said, what part of my complaint, this goes into sound as well. Big sound guy, important fact. There's nothing they can really do to prevent this, but it's the same gripe I have with you know, like Planet Earth and all those nature documentaries where every single sound is a fake sound. You know, like nothing in the documentary, like every single lava sound is not like a real
what's that
lava
type
sound.
of-
Like a
yeah.
Foley artist creates everything. And I think I lived in ignorance for a long while. You know, I'd watch some stuff and be like, whoa, this is some cool Planet Earth shit. And then I think I found that out once, and it really messed with me. Where I was like, none of this is real. The video, the footage is real, but every other sound is artificial. And maybe it should just be like should it be silent? Maybe not. I think that'd be a little less captivating. But they should at least have. I forgot the British, whatever that guy who does the Planet Earth stuff. He does a good job. This woman was not. I had the French on for a little bit just to see what it sounded like. It sounded better. I mean, I didn't know what she was saying, but
You take that over the English?
it sounded like it had some gusto to it. You know, it was
Yeah.
engaging.
It sounded like she just took like a bunch of Benadryl and forgot, and that was the only time she had like recording time.
Maurice and Katia were lovers, but their love was coming to an end. Yeah, it was rough. Grant, did you have a criticism that trumped that one?
My camera seems like it's out of focus.
It's all right. we can see you there, buddy.
I thought you were going to talk about, you know, I think the term there is diegetic sound versus non-diegetic. I don't know if that's
What is
really
that?
related, but like the sound is not, they're not actually like using the sound from the actual set, right? Like they're adding it post editing. But no, what was my I don't know. I enjoyed it, but I wish they kind of like went into Maurice and Katia more as people. I feel like we didn't hear, there was not one single interview with anyone, right? Like I feel like pretty common with documentaries is at least get some of their friends or colleagues who knew them. There was like footage from interviews, you know, but the people who made this documentary did not conduct an interview themselves.
No, they just gathered everything they could for like a school
which
project.
Is weird, I think, and not in a necessarily negative way, but pretty uncommon for a documentary. I think typically you're an expose of these two individuals. You would talk to people who knew them and other volcanists. Like I think it'd be interesting, and maybe it would be less of a love story, but it'd be interesting to hear how other volcanists or volcanologists actually thought of them now, how they thought of them, you know, before. Like, were they really pushing the edge, and have they changed the field forever? We have no idea.
Yeah, get some like
I have no
Harvard
idea.
geologists.
Like, are
to
they
be
looked?
They were revolutionary.
Yeah, like to your point, Quinn, are they looked down upon? Are they like stupid for doing that and they really didn't progress? I mean, they got these this pretty footage and camera, but like they're not scientists and they are never scientists. I think that'd be interesting, you know?
No,
Who
I do
knows?
think that, it's unclear where the funding comes from, and that is an interesting thought experiment where you're like, if I just call myself a scientist because I'm independently wealthy, and I just go out and I
Live
look
out
at
of a van.
nature, yeah, and I like think about things a lot, but I like never publish anything, or maybe I
They
uh,
wrote books, but
okay, picture books. So I should not.
The other gripe that I had with this, and you guys are kind of touching on it too, is it kind of struck me when it was like talking about their movie making. I was like, this movie almost feels like a YouTube like highlights of their former work. Like, was all this stuff like in a movie that they already put together, and then like was sliced up by this person, and then just like compiled into
just
like
took
a
different
best
scenes.
of?
yeah,
I
I
never-
think they made films, didn't they?
Yeah, they made all. That's how they funded. That's how they like. That's like what they did with all this footage.
What
They,
were
like,
their
made
films?
movies.
It's tough. There's
I-
not a lot of info out there, man.
Yeah, I don't know, but like it just kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and I was like, did they like? How much work did they actually do in this? If like you're making a movie with like just the source material, you know?
I mean,
don't know.
it's definitely probably some work to. Right. I don't know if it was raw material or there were clips from the movies, because if it was I think a lot of raw footage was found, and you got to kind of remaster that or whatever sort of modernization techniques you got to do. That could be pretty extensive, but they were kind of trying to tie it together with that story, like how they saved the city and that place. You know what I'm talking about at the end?
The
Where, like they listened to them because
Yeah.
of their videos, and then
Well,
I was
their
like,
last thing published, was about what was the last thing? Their last project was understanding volcanic hazards and reducing volcanic risks, and that was about evacuations and stuff.
Gotcha.
So
yeah, and then I was like, all right, if their goal was, awareness, and like, hey, this is kind of bringing awareness as well, because it's definitely not at the forefront of people's minds. I mean, I guess it doesn't have to be if you're not near a volcano, I guess.
well, just play devil's advocate here. I think after the first tragic one in Colombia, I don't think there's been a bad one. So I think the death toll 27,000 was probably the bigger impact. Like that was just showed how important evacuations was, probably more than their work. You know what I'm saying? Like I think a huge catastrophic tragedy probably is more impactful than their book.
But it didn't seem like they were like researching and going out to promote like volcano safety. I think they were more like enthralled. They're like, this is majestic. This is greater than us. I'd live here if I could.
They showed up like while they're getting bodies, and they're like, we're just here for the volcano. Don't mind us.
All right, so we've already kind of been talking about it. Those are some of my criticisms as well. But I had another segment called Who's the Hero? Where basically I did see this divide or separation between we had Maurice and Katia and the Mother Nature side of it, just volcanoes, planet Earth style, you just show all this beautiful footage. And I think what Grant was getting at, I tend to agree with, where, in terms of, volcanic footage, I mean, this is incredible. I was like, wow, this is awesome. But, if the story in the documentary is supposed to be about these two volcanologists and their relationship, I mean, that fell a little short.
What do you mean? Their relationship was volcanic.
She was worried that he got too close to the lava,
Oh, they did have that line.
and then that was
I
really
liked
bad.
his
And
idea.
they were
I liked
both
his
too
idea
close.
of riding on a boat down the stream.
It sounded
Sounded cool, and that was
Yeah,
how they got
seem-
media hype.
Yeah. Were
Um,
these just influencers? Did they just want the clout? Were they just seeking for clout, guys? Or were they real scientists?
I think they were real scientists. It's just like if there's not enough there to build a story or an in-depth just like dive into your life. Maybe you should do like a collection. You know, get all the volcano. Do like include that other guy that died, that David Johnson guy. Like talk to his family. Maybe it should have been a little bit more broad because the love story, love story, love story.
There was no. I mean, how did they meet?
Said it like a college
there were
campus on
three
at a
different
bench.
Stories.
Oh.
But it was disputed how they met.
Oh,
There were a couple different stories.
so they've made up.
But they were close. They grew up close to each other.
Yes.
By coincidence.
Mm-hmm.
And then they got married, and then they decided they wanted to study volcanoes.
No kids, just volcanoes.
No kids, just volcanoes. And that was pretty much all we got.
Yeah, because
They
it's
were a
tough
little-
because
Yeah, they were a little like kind of rebellious and didn't want to participate in the status quo society, I think.
yeah, and one of them also had to be. I was reading, you know, most of the time one of them was shooting, you know, all the time. So only one of them could be in the shot. Usually, if it's moving or doing anything like that. So I don't know. Maybe when you're just two of you together, I mean, you're not talking about yourself. They just wanted to get some cool. Yeah, maybe if we knew a little bit more into the science, what was going on, it'd be more impressive. But we can't get that unless you have other, you know, peers that say these guys were the shit, or we got to listen to them. They're impressive. They looked like they were doing some impressive stuff. I don't know if people still do that same stuff with like drones now, because I mean it's like them and a helicopter dude, and they're shooting like into the volcano. You're like, that's a lot.
Yeah, they started it with like his leg was just like burning, and he didn't notice.
My
And
leg
he's
was
like,
burning.
Oh, gotta pat that out.
I guess they did a horn.
Yeah, I'm like, that's all right. They're definitely gonna die. They're
Right. On the other hand, I don't think it would have been. I don't know if it would have won all these awards if it was just, you know, Planet Earth, volcanoes. And it just showed this footage without them.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it would have gotten the run it's gotten.
I mean, I think it's like the footage is more beautiful because it is so dangerous, and you know, like even being, you know, professionals in the sense that, you know, they knew the dangers and they were probably as careful as anyone, right? They were pushing the boundaries of being, you know, that close in proximity to active volcanoes. They still died, right? Like it's I don't know. It makes it almost more awe-inspiring, you know, like just the power of Earth.
And it was,
That's
I mean,
kind of cool.
they seemed like they were on a track to die. I mean, a lot of times you think, damn, like this was an accident or this person didn't need to die. But if you keep doing these like pretty risky behaviors, I mean, eventually one of them's going to
It's
get
like
you.
wingsuit
mm-hmm.
people.
Like base jumpers and
Yeah,
stuff.
base jump, like at some point you're gonna die from
Yeah,
base jump.
Climbers.
They're like
Yeah.
red volcanoes are friendly. Like we like that was like their intro, and then they're like, well, then we had to go to the gray ones, you know, like, and it's like okay, like, and then they're like talking about the crazy fatalities in South America, and they're just like, we had to stop this, you know, we had to learn more. It's just like,
I think they got addicted to the thrill too.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
You know,
it's probably just being like on the top of a mountain, and you're like, this is
just could blow
awe
up my
inspiring.
eye.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
why wouldn't you want? It's like being
And the
high.
adrenaline. Yeah.
Everyone's running away, but you're like right there still, untouchable.
All right. Our next segment is a secret segment. I thought
Super secret.
I was thinking. I was like, what could I come up with? You know, what's the theme of this documentary? What's going on here? I decided in the theme of documentaries and learning, my super secret segment would be a short volcano trivia test with obviously Grant v. Pat. I know all the answers. And I have about 8 questions here. And we can keep track of who has the most points at the end. So what do you guys think about that?
Well, I'm down. Let's go. I'm a little nervous. I watched
Yeah.
this movie a couple like the Friday after.
Well, it's not about the film. It's not about the
Oh,
film. It's
okay,
just
okay.
in general.
Okay.
Volcano trivia. I didn't pick anything that would be too, oh, I would never effing get that. Like, this is hopefully a little bit more general, maybe shocking, entertaining
What are the rules?
too. It's just I'm just gonna read some questions here. I'll let you guys put
Is
in
there
your
a prize
answers.
we can win?
Pride.
Pride, bragging rights. Maybe I'll come up with a prize later, but I really have no
Okay.
prize for you.
I missed the instructions. Are there any special instructions, or we just
Nope.
blurt it out?
No, well, we'll get your answer and Pat's answer, and then if you get it right, there's a couple here that are numbers. If you get a little closer, I'll give it to you. If you're way off, I'm not going to give it to you.
Price is
And-
Right rules, or
Oh, that's a good idea. Let's do the Price is Right rules. Thanks, Grant,
Okay.
for that contribution.
thing? You
But
know,
don't be a
problem.
dick about it.
Yeah, Pat goes first. Go one above.
Yeah. Oh, one below too.
No, one below. You don't want to do. You
Oh,
can't
oh
go
yeah. I mean, if
over.
it's depending on what the real number is.
Oh,
All right.
yeah.
Can't go over. All right, so let's start off with, a basic definition. So, do you guys know, the question is, how many active volcanoes are there in the world? And we're saying an active volcanism is defined as a volcano that has erupted in the last 10,000 years.
Oh, 10,000 years?
Yeah, 10,000 years, so it's a lot. So that's what we call an active volcano in modern day.
No, that's what we call an active volcano.
5,000.
So Pat says
Whoa.
5,000.
I'm going a different scale. I'm going to go 595.
All right. So the answer is 1,500. So I'm going to give that one to Grant. You're on the board, buddy.
Yes.
Now let's see. The next one. All right. This is A, B, or C. Up to 3/4 of active volcanoes in the world can be found in which area? So 3/4.
I'll go first. So
Well-
that's only fair.
Okay. So A, on land. B, on the ocean floor. Or C, alongside the equator. There's no D.
Land.
Ocean
Patrick?
floor.
Oh, got to give it to Patrick. It is on the ocean floor.
The Ring of
Okay.
Fire.
The Ring of Fire, that's true.
I guess that makes sense because you think about in general, there's more water than land on Earth. So,
Plates.
well,
All
just
right,
in general, there's more. If there's, if they're all
So
around
they're all
Earth,
randomly
Yeah.
distributed.
yeah.
This one is an interesting one because it might trip you up, but I'm going to go as it's written. Which country has the most volcanoes, both active and dormant, in the world? This is A, B, C, or D. A, USA. B, Russia. C, Indonesia. Or D, New Zealand. Grant and Pat have their thinking faces on.
Indonesia.
Indonesia, yeah.
So you are both incorrect. Indonesia has the most active volcanoes.
Russia.
which we said was 10,000. It's actually the United States with 162 active and
Wow.
dormant. I think we have a lot of dormant volcanoes maybe in Hawaii and other places in the ocean. That one was a little tough. All right. Question number 4. Can you name, this is A, B, C, or D. Can you name the world's largest volcano? A, Mauna Loa in Hawaii. B, Mount Fuji in Japan. C, Mount Vesuvius in Italy. Or D, Mount Rainier in the United States of America.
What was the question?
What
Vesuvius.
is the world's largest volcano?
That's not the answer. I was just saying the
I'll
pronunciation.
do Mount Rainier.
I've been there. Very pretty.
Was it big?
I don't know how big the other ones are.
If you need me to repeat it, let me know.
I'll say Fuji.
So you were both incorrect. The correct
Is
answer
it
was
Hawaii?
Yeah, it was in Hawaii, Mauna Loa.
Wow.
I just went there.
Which one's
all right.
bigger?
I didn't go to that island.
Well, it's Hawaii.
All right, the score is tied, guys, 1-1. This is exciting. All right, question number 5, halfway through. There are no active. Is true or false? There are no active volcanoes in the UK.
True.
Active.
Active
I'm gonna
volcanoes.
Go with true.
That is correct, guys. Look at you. No active volcanoes in the UK. Question number 6. Very similar
They can't
question.
handle spice.
No, they're lame. There are no active volcanoes in Australia. True or false?
True. It's
False.
colonized by Great Britain, so
But they said they're prisoners there. The spicy people.
The answer, Grant, you're correct. It's true. There's no active volcanoes in Australia. A little tricky. I would think the other way.
yeah. I don't know. I feel like it's all just bushwhack. It's like nothing else.
Hey, buddy.
Like I don't know how big their mountains are. I think it's like hilly, but I don't know.
Maybe they don't.
But-
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
I
don't
think,
know. It could be out of
yeah,
the way.
yeah.
I have no idea.
I'm not a volcanologist.
No.
All right. This one's tougher. This is another number 1. We'll see what you guys say. How many American volcanologists have died in volcanic eruptions
All ever?
ever?
18.
I was gonna say 15, so I'll stick with my guess.
The answer is 2. Only David Johnson, who we talked about earlier, who died in
DJ.
St. Helens, and Harry Glicken, who died
Who
with,
died? No.
with them.
With them.
Mm-hmm.
In Japan.
So maybe
How many French volcanologists have died?
I don't know
2.
about French, but worldwide, I saw in the past 60 years, 31 people have died internationally. So that one is a little tougher. I think I might give that one to Pat to tie it up. Make this exciting.
I deserve it.
He's closer, I guess.
Yeah.
I could have gone one over,
Then you would have lost.
so that's why I win.
So here's the final question, and I'll just read it as is true or false. The Krakatoa volcanic eruption in 1883 is thought to be the loudest sound mankind has ever witnessed.
The Krakatoa? What's
Krakatoa.
True.
Would you say? What's that?
that? Yeah.
The
It was a
loudest sound
volcanic
mankind has ever
eruption.
witnessed.
The loudest? Sure, yeah, why not? No, wait. I have to go. I think true, but I'll go false just so there's a winner.
Just so there's a winner.
Yeah.
All right. The winner is Patrick. It was correct. I'm glad you
Yeah!
went on record, though.
I said true.
just there'd be a winner. Um,
Yeah.
It was 310 decibels. Um, and I was reading some crazy stats that like the air shock wave circled the globe like 3 to 4 times. I mean, this was in 1883, and they said it was like if someone made a sound in New York, and then people in Ireland heard that sound.
They could hear it.
Yeah. I mean, that's the distance.
Wow.
Not actually New York and Ireland, but that's the distance that it traveled.
That's crazy.
They probably like burned some witches too. Like they're like, what the hell was that? Like I don't know.
You're dead today.
I'm scared. That was the devil. Gotta kill a couple people in the village.
So
Yeah, those must be powerful. Thanks. I feel like even after watching all that footage, you still don't really know like how. You can't really imagine how fucking powerful a volcanic explosion is or eruption.
probably not. I mean, it's
We weren't any of the science, so I agree with you.
so congratulations, Patrick. You're our winner today. I know Grant was he graciously took one in the leg.
We couldn't have a tie, you know.
Yeah, that'd be lame.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even though
Actually,
the 15 out of that was a little lame, but it's okay.
the 15-2. All right, you guys are both winners. There's no winner. Woo-hoo.
No, I'm joking. Pat wins.
Uh,
Congratulations, Patrick.
all right, did you guys
Thank
have
you,
fun
Grant.
playing
Fair
trivia?
match.
What did
Yes.
You, all right.
What'd you
10
say?
out of 10.
Did I asked if you had fun playing trivia?
Oh, that was great. Yeah.
Okay.
I like the super secret segment.
Okay. Nice. We're always exploring here on a quarter life.
That's
I
the
feel like
most I learned
more
about
yeah.
about volcanoes in this segment.
I like the
The
last
whole
one. You were
movie.
like, Krakatoa. What the fuck? What the fuck is that? Oh, loudest sound in the world.
Obviously.
All right.
That does just sound like a fake word, though.
Krakatoa. Have you heard that
Yeah.
before?
That sounds like a volcano that would be in Australia. Like, just throwing it out there.
Mm-hmm. Where was
No,
that?
I've not heard that.
That was in, I think, outside of Indonesia. I don't know if
Right in
Indonesia
Australia.
technically owns it, or not owns it, but I don't know. It says caldera.
owns the
in-
volcano.
Yeah, it owns it. It's mine. Can't own Mother Nature. All right, boys. This leads us to our last segment. I decided to skip the report card we usually do. I don't think it really fits with a documentary like this, and just go straight to the patented over and under IMDb score, where we decide whether the true rating of Fire of Love is over the IMDb score. And today, sitting at a pretty high 7.7, but only with 5.5 thousand votes. So I will hand it off to Patrick as the winner of our game. Would you give this an over or an under?
Under.
Under.
It was not as... The title didn't match the content. The narrator wasn't very impressive. And while it was very beautiful, I felt a little bit misled by the premise and what I was watching, which ultimately led me with being like disappointed in
What was your expectation?
a passionate love story that was also beautiful to watch.
You know, maybe the volcanoes.
No. That's Love of Fire. That's a different.
Oh, Love of Fire.
This
damn.
is
A
Fire of
young
Love.
pyromaniac discovers like alcohol spray plus a lighter.
Grant, what about you?
I mean, I like this film. I would recommend it. 7.7 is pretty high. I don't know why it's got to be that high. You know.
It's the review. Can't do anything about it.
I know it's the patented review. You know, um, I'll go under, just a little under. I'm reluctantly going under too, because I recommend it. You know, this is just a patent review. So as a recommendation, go and watch the film. I do think this is a little, you know, I don't think it's a 7.7. I'm it's not a must see, and it's really not on the top of my documentary list either. I don't think
Mm-hmm.
the imagery is breathtaking. But you could just take kind of the 10 minutes in any of this film that's center, and you'll get an idea of how breathtaking and awe-inspiring this footage is. I don't think the construction of this documentary was that smart, and like it was not that, you know, perfectly executed. I think from a documentary standpoint, I think the content's great. I think the footage itself is great. Um, but the whole picture, you know, falls a little flat, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go under as well. I think the story is a little lacking, and the pictures are very beautiful. Um, you have a comment here, Mister Patrick. What is this, Big Ben? this, this is a this is disputing my trivia. You know, I worked really hard on this trivia.
I just thought that crocodile volcano got me thinking that maybe there were weird volcanoes in Australia.
It's in Antarctic territory.
Well, if
It's
you remember, is this
no, no, no,
a
no.
I
It's part of
yeah.
Antarctica, but
a-
it's just owned by Australia. It's claimed by Australia. It's not in Australia.
But
It's
when was the
Antarctic.
last eruption for this guy?
2019.
2019.
No, it's Antarctica. It's in Antarctica.
Yeah, it's a little.
Do you see how far away? Look at the map on that thing. It's not anywhere fucking close to Australia.
Yeah, you know, it could be, you know.
That's funny.
What's
Yeah,
the-
it's
what's
very
I
far
couldn't
off.
find
theory?
that.
What's the theory of like they were all one landmass at a point?
Pangea or
Pa-
something.
Pangea.
Plate
So you can,
tectonics?
yeah, so you can see
Pangea?
maybe
Yeah.
it was Pangea. Maybe it was a part of Australia at some
Yeah,
point.
Glenn, I couldn't disprove your claim. That's as close as I got. It's not really Australia.
So we were trying to find something to
Heard Island.
Well, I was just kind of curious about the like if it was flat or if there were mountains.
I don't think for those listening, I do. Patrick sent a article or a Wikipedia.
I tried to put it on the screen. Where is
The Big Ben is Heard Island is a volcano in Antarctica.
I really
slash Australia.
messed up the screen there.
It's in the Australian part of Antarctica, which I thought Antarctica was unclaimed.
No, everyone's got their little stake. Have you seen all the flags?
I personally, no, I haven't.
There's crazy amount of flags.
Sorry.
What's going on?
Sorry, I'm
bro?
trying. I was really trying. I'm messing with the stream. I was trying to show where this
Keep it in the background.
thing is located.
You
Maybe
could share your screen.
yeah, I could do that instead of well, I wanted to bring it in, you know, put it on Pat's face, and it wasn't working out. So I can share the screen really quick. Big Ben, look at that. All right, there we go. You see that?
It's
No,
like
that's
in
fine.
the
It's right.
neighborhood.
You can see it. Click that again,
Yeah.
and then it's
Right
it's that
there.
island right there. That's it.
Yeah,
It's not even Antarctica.
it's Big Ben.
It's Big Ben. It exploded
It's
4
closer
years
to
ago.
Africa, I think.
All right. That brings us to a close here for Fire of Love 2022. Next week, as the big boss CEO, the director, he gets to delegate a lot of things, and I'm going to assign the next task to the person that I assigned the first task to, which is Mr. Farmer. You are the director for next time. Tell us what we're doing.
Well, so I guess I heard this film. I was listening to a podcast, and it's a film I really want to watch. There's a lot of controversy around it. It's the original name was Jihad Rehab, and it was an American filmmaker who lived in the Middle East. What was it? I forget the exact country. She can speak a Middle Eastern language. But anyway, she wanted to interview, and she went to, there's an actual jihad rehab like camp in Saudi Arabia where you can be sent if you were a terrorist, and Saudi Arabia will like make you go through rehab so you're not a terrorist anymore. And a lot of the all the prisoners she talked to came from what let me
Guantanamo
see.
Bay.
Guantanamo Bay, yeah.
Damn.
From the U.S. And she got footage which was like never, I don't know if they're Somali. She got rehab. It's so controversial that I should have done my research. I really want to watch it, but I don't know if we actually can get our hands on this.
So it's
been
TBD.
canceled. It was, and the controversy was that it was submitted to Sundance, and then a bunch of Muslim groups said this is a white woman telling us a story. So, but it was really empathetic and sympathized with. It was kind of canceled. All the people who were criticizing the film had not watched it, and they were just criticizing that it was a white woman kind of talking. But anyways, I definitely want to see this film, so I don't know if we'll be able to get it.
All right, we can try that. What is the name of this?
Jihad Rehab.
Okay.
Or the unredacted.
The unredacted is the new name. If not, I have a backup documentary that we could watch.
Okay. Let's try and get our hands on this, and if we don't, then that's okay. We'll let everybody know. We'll adjust. We'll adapt. We're very agile.
Do you want to know the other one?
Do you think we'll watch it in the future?
I'll watch it in the future.
Sure, you can tell us, and we'll.
It's along the themes of Fire of Love. It's also National Geographic. It's called The Rescue, and it's about 15 boys.
Oh, yeah.
It's on Disney Plus as well. It's 12 Thai boys and their soccer coach were in a cave. I think they were exploring, and then it became flooded, and there was a huge rescue efforts by many people to get them out.
That's the cave rescue. I mean, that was
it's crazy.
That was what was in the news.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's literally like the British Navy SEALs or whatever go in there first responding, and they're like, oh, caves are really I don't know what I'm doing here. So it's like, who are we gonna call? Who knows about cave diving? And it's like, who knows? I don't know. It's please help us. And then it's random dudes who are like, yeah, I'm IT. I've been in IT for 20 years. I do cave diving on every weekend. Love it. And you're I could help out here. And it's just random guys just show up and help out. And they're the people who know. And it's intense and crazy. It's great, very suspenseful and stressful and
better documentary. Wait, no, we can't say.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's my backup. Why don't we figure out by this weekend?
Okay, we'll put on our glasses and try and hunt some things down.
It's documentary season.
I thought you were gonna pick Puss in Boots too, Grant.
Yeah, we thought you were doing Puss in Boots too, but maybe that's next time. I know you want to save the best for a little bit later.
I've already seen it 3 times, so.
Ah. Darn. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up for today's episode. Thanks for joining. Always watch it live, YouTube, every other Wednesday,
Every other Wednesday.
5:30 or 8:30
Eastern, 5:30 Pacific. And we have an
Grant.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Quarter Life Critics is our Instagram handle. And we have a Gmail if you want to reach out to us, Quarter Life Critics Podcast at gmail.com. You can send us any emails you want. Thank you for listening. We'll see you next week with a documentary. And we'll probably do a post somewhere.
Next week.
Yeah. All right. See you guys next week.
Peace.
Peace.